Good morning, everybody. What a way to start today's program. Thank you so much to the Tracy L. Davis Memorial Choir. Give it up one more time. And Tacoma's Mayor Victoria Wood is always getting up. She's going to do nothing else. She's going to make sure she stands up for praise and worship. She is always going to make sure she is up for that. My name is Lionel Donovan, and I am pleased. I am pleased to be your MC for today's celebration. Now, before we continue, it is important that we acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Puyallup tribe. The Puyallup people have lived on and stewarded these lands since the beginning of time and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is just one very small step that we are taking towards true allyship, and we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous people of this land and beyond. Now, I invite you all to please stand as you are able for the presentation of colors by the JBLM 593rd ESC Color Guard and the National Anthem, being sung today by City Events and Recognitions Committee member Karen Sutter.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were though gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right. So again, thank you so much, Karen, and thank you to the JBLM 593rd ESC Color Guard. Now, as I said earlier, my name is Lionel Donovan, and I'm the Tacoma Bureau Chief for King 5 News, and I'm very happy to be here today. Now, it has been an incredible service being able to cover Tacoma, and I've seen so many things happening, so many changes. It's hard to forget that COVID was just, now 4 years ago. It wasn't really that long ago, and I've seen the city go through so many changes and developments. Some of them have been long overdue, and there have been other changes that the city has had that brings a new set of challenges that the city will have to come together and deal with as a community. And as we come to deal with these challenges, they will serve as the blueprint for other cities around the country to follow. And so with that, we come to the theme of today's celebration, which is a community blueprint. So please watch with me as Jessica Johnston, chair of the city's Events and Recognition Committee, and members of our community share with us in the first 4 What is Your Life's Blueprint Community Conversations.
I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint?
Hello and welcome. I'm Jessica Johnston, the chair of Tacoma City Events and Recognition Committee. Welcome to the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. In 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous speech, "I Have a Dream," in Washington, D.C. This speech was inspired by a blueprint that Dr. King had been working on for years. What many people don't know is that the speech inspired Dr. King to deliver another speech titled, "What is Your Life's Blueprint?" in 1967 at Barrett Junior High School in Philadelphia.
This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint.
What is Your Life's Blueprint speech continues to inspire people of all ages and backgrounds to pursue their dreams and make a positive impact on the world. Tacoma, Washington is a diverse city with a population of over 200,000 people. The city's unique character and charm stem from the mix of different cultures, ethnicities, and nationalities that call Tacoma home. There's a number of organizations and groups dedicated to promoting diversity and inclusion in our city of destiny. Tacoma is a living testament to Dr. King's "I Have a Dream" speech, as well as "What is Your Life's Blueprint" speech. Tacoma's diversity is one of our greatest strengths and adds to the richness of our social fabric. Please join me in welcoming some of Tacoma's leaders and community members in celebrating Tacoma's blueprint.
I understand that I play a very important, if not critical, role in that dream.
The things that Dr. King said in his famous blueprint speech was about seeing worth and value in yourself, no matter what anyone else says, and then learning and knowing who you are and what your purpose is.
Sometimes it's hard to figure out what that right thing is, and sometimes it's even harder to have the bravery to do the right thing. But Dr. King was incredibly brave, and that inspires me every day to try and stand up for what I believe to be right.
His ability to give voice to people who have felt injustice in our community and in our world. and he did it with love.
He was able to bring unity to a divided nation.
There's more that unites us, there's more that we have in common than what separates us.
I think the opportunity for a brighter Tacoma tomorrow lies within each one of us. None of us can do it alone, but each of us has an opportunity to make a difference for someone else.
We're Tacoma. We are a community. We are families. Being able to show up as who you are, being able to support this community, but also get the support that you're asking for from this community.
We need to work with the city as nonprofits, as individuals in this city, to hold our government accountable and ask them for real change.
Tacoma can grow and become a better place by making sure that we are living out the dream that Dr. King had brought forward, and that is to make sure that everybody has equal access to opportunity, and we are really taking equity into everything that we're doing as a city.
I think bringing people together in community, every time we bring people together, every time we see groups of people coming together, it's beautiful. It's a brighter Tacoma.
Tacoma needs all of us to step into unity with humility.
It is up to us, those of us who are here now, who are leading, who are serving. It's up to us to focus on Dr. Martin Luther King's dream. It's up to us to pick up the mantle where he left off. And that means waking up every single day and asking one question of yourself: what can I do today that will help someone else?
It is now my pleasure to introduce Estella Rouse from the Tacoma Urban Performing Arts Center for words of inspiration. Following Estella, the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, will be performed by Sandra M. Allen.
Hello, my name is Estella Rouse, and I will be reading an excerpt from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail. I chose this excerpt because he was much more than his "I have a dream" speech, and that is why we celebrate him today. Oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. The yearning for freedom eventually manifests itself, and that is what happened to the American Negro. Something within has reminded them of their birthright of freedom, and something without has been caught up by this, and something without has reminded them that it can be gained. Consciously or unconsciously, they have been caught up by the zeitgeist, and their black brothers of Africa, and their brown and yellow brothers of Asia, South America, the Caribbean. The United States Negro is moving with a sense of great urgency toward the promised land of racial justice. If one recognizes the visual urge that has engulfed the Negro community, one should readily understand why public demonstrations are taking place. The Negro has many pent-up resentments and latent frustrations, and they must release them. So let them march. Let them make prayer pilgrimages to the city hall. Let them go on freedom rides and try to understand why they must do so. So if their repressed emotions are not released in nonviolent ways, they will seek expression through violence. This is not a threat, but a fact of history. So I have not said to my people, get rid of your discontent. Rather, I have tried to say that this is normal and healthy discontent that can be channeled into the creative outlet of nonviolent action. And now this approach is being termed extremist. Though I was initially disappointed at being categorized as an extremist, I continued to think about the matter. I gradually gained a measure of satisfaction as I continued. Satisfaction from the label. Was not Jesus an extremist for love? Love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Was not Amos an extremist for justice? Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness on an ever-flowing stream. Was not Paul an extremist for the Christian gospel? I bear my body in the marks of the Lord Jesus. Was not Martin Luther an extremist? Here I stand, I cannot do otherwise, so help me God. And John Bunyan, I will stay in jail to the end of my days before I make a butchery of my conscience. And Abraham Lincoln, this nation could not survive half slave and half free. And Thomas Jefferson, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. So the question is not whether will we be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be. Will we be extremists for hate or for love? Will we be extremists for preservation of injustice or extension of justice? In the dramatic scene on Calvary's Hill, 3 men were crucified. We must never forget that all 3 were crucified for the same crime of extremism. 2 were just extremists for immorality, and thus fell below their environment. The other, Jesus Christ, was an extremist for love, truth, and goodness, and thereby rose above his environment. Perhaps the South, the nation, and the world are in dire need of creative extremists.
Lift every voice and sing until earth and heaven ring, till they ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies, and let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that our dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. And facing the rising sun of a new day begun, and let us march on until victory is won.
Yes, yes. Miss Allen. Thank you. All right, we have already had an incredible start to the City of Tacoma's 36th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. Thank you again to Estella Rouse and Sandra M. Allen. It is now my utmost pleasure to introduce the mayor of the City of Tacoma, the City of Destiny, Miss Victoria Woodards. Mayor.
Good morning, everyone. Is this Tacoma? Am I somewhere else? Good morning, everyone. That's what I thought we were going to say. Happy MLK Day! What an honor it is to be standing here before all of you on this very, very, very important day. We gather to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a day that holds profound significance in our nation's history and recognizes the visionary leader who dedicated his life, his entire life, to the pursuit of justice, equality, and the dream of a truly united society. And while we reflect on his dream, and while we can stand on the progress that we've made, as I stand here before all of you this morning, we know there is still so much left to do. There is work for all of us to do. When I reflect on the theme, a community blueprint, building block by block, and as I read that speech from Dr. Martin Luther King, it reminded me of two things. Number one, we all, and you all hear me say this all the time, we all have a responsibility in community. It is not just your elected leaders or those that you call your community leaders or your pastors or your boss. Truly, what that means is that all of us play a role in making Tacoma live out its creed of being the city of destiny. We all have a role to play, and in that speech, he talks about it. And the first thing about building your own blueprint so that others will see your value is to first see value in yourself. To remember that no matter what anybody says or what anybody else thinks, you were uniquely created for this moment and for this time to lay your blueprint and to make a difference in the world. And the second thing it reminded me of is that you don't have to be the President of the United States. You don't have to be the secretary or the deputy secretary of the Department of Commerce. You don't have to be the principal at a school or the superintendent. You don't have to be a Fortune 500 CEO to be great and to serve. All you need to do is be the best and strive to be the best at whatever your gift is. In his speech, Dr. King says, if it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, well, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Shakespeare who wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the host of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper. So whatever you do, wherever you choose to build on the blueprint that you've established for your life, believe in yourself and know that you can do anything you set your mind to, and then remember to be your best. You see, the great thing about this work today, while we honor Dr. Martin Luther King, while Dr. Martin Luther King is the name we call out, Dr. Martin Luther King did not do this work alone, and none of us have to do it either. As I stand here on this podium today and look out into the audience, I see all of these community members who do this work alongside of us every day. I also see all of these elected officials. Elected officials, would you all please stand? I see these people, and if you're representing an elected official, please stand. I see this group of people who show up every day on your behalf because you chose them to do a work in your community, in our community. Please remain standing. If you work in the city of Tacoma, please stand. If you are a first responder, a firefighter, a police officer, please stand. If you actually work anywhere for any company in the city of Tacoma, please stand. If you live in the city of Tacoma, please stand. If you give of your time and your talent in Tacoma, please stand and remain standing. If you give of your time and talent in Tacoma, please stand. And for anybody else, if you love the city of Tacoma, please stand. Now, I want all of you to look around the room as you're standing. I want you to look around the room, and I want to remind you that whatever your gift and talent is, however you are choosing to work in community, you are not alone. You have a whole room of people who are just here today, not to mention all of the people who are outside of this room today. And if we all work together, if we all focus on our blueprint, because you see, when one building gets built, then another building sprouts up beside it. And it may not be the same size, and it may not be the same color, it may not even have the same amount of rooms, but it pops up. And then a street pops up and another building pops up. It could be a house, it could be a nonprofit. But see, when we all focus, when we're all committed and dedicated to the city that we love so dearly, even in spite of its challenges, I never said, and Martin Luther King knows this, that life would be easy. But what I believe as a Christian is that despite the hard times, that if we stay faithful, we can and will make the changes that live out Dr. Martin Luther King. We will build our blueprint. We will build our city, and we will make it a place that no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what you believe in, that this will be the city of destiny where everyone who chooses to be a part of this community can be their best selves and get everything they want out of life here in Tacoma. We can do this. We've got work to do. We'll celebrate today and get up tomorrow morning and keep working. Thank you all so very much. Now it is my pleasure to introduce you. Talk about how great this city is. The next person I'm going to introduce to you is someone who has become a really good friend to Tacoma. And I will tell you that the federal government sometimes gets a bad rap, as do all elected leaders. Sometimes, I didn't say all the time. Sometimes we deserve it, I'll admit that, but not all the time. But the federal government sometimes gets a bad rap. But I am so thankful that here in Tacoma, we have formed the kind of partnerships that help our city, not hurt our city. We have an incredible federal delegation that represents us, and none other than my mayor, Congressman Marilyn Strickland, and my very good friend, Congressman Derek Kilmer. We have two incredible U.S. senators, Senator Patty Murray and Senator Maria Cantwell. But they represent a lot of places. And so the next person I'm going to introduce to you could have gone anywhere in the country, but wanted to be here in this city on this day to celebrate with all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, and all of y'all, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you the Deputy Secretary of Commerce for the United States of America, none other than Don Graves, to share a few remarks.
Wow, how to follow up the mayor. Mayor, thank you so much for allowing me to join you in your city. Thank you for stamping my passport. But most importantly, to celebrate what I think is one of the most important days of the year, thinking about and furthering the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. When reflecting on his legacy, I can't help but reflect on my own family's history, which I think is similar to so many folks in the room. My 4 times great-grandparents, formerly enslaved people, after they had their freedom, they started a business, horse and buggy taxi business. They used that business to build a family, to build some wealth, and they bought a piece of land. The piece of land that they bought so that they could grow their business is the land where the Department of Commerce sits today. Their son owned a premier hotel just blocks away from where they owned that piece of land. He became one of the first black patent holders. Now, why do I bring this up? His patent, unique in that it was a life-saving apparatus for boats. And you might say, well, why did he come up? He ran a hotel. Why did he come up with this patent for boats? Well, you see, he and Senator Charles Sumner, the abolitionist senator from Massachusetts, used to help slaves come up the rivers to the north to find freedom. And the thing that he learned through this experience was that not many slaves knew how to swim. Lived experiences and representation matters. It was crucial for them to be successful to bring their lived experiences to their work every single day. Their success meant that the family had success, and they were able to contribute to the country's success. The problem is that that success isn't found in every community. Their story shouldn't be an anomaly. It should be the norm. And President Biden and Vice President Harris know this better than anyone else. They understand that the key to unlocking the potential of this country, to unlocking economic opportunity for everyone, including communities of color, including underserved communities all across this country, is taking the hopes and dreams that Americans have, providing them with the opportunities so they can live lives of dignity. So when we talk about public service, and we talk about leadership, we talk about the definition of commitment to the people in this community and so many others, we don't need to look any further than your mayor. Mayor Woodard, throughout your career, you have championed equity as a cornerstone of your agenda because you know that equity is the key, that if you include everyone, if you think about equity the right way, you think about it's not just about supporting one group or one person over others. What you're doing is making sure that everyone has the opportunity to bring their best selves, to bring their value to the community. And so it provides lives of dignity, not just for them and for their family, but for everyone in their community. That's why I was so pleased to learn all about what the mayor is doing with your equity and empowerment agenda. That is exactly what the president and the vice president are talking about. It's helping members of this community reach their full potential. I could go on and on about the mayor and her accomplishments, but you all know about the mayor. What we're trying to do is to help sustain the work that she and so many of the other elected officials and folks who are supporting this community are doing. It's like what we do at the Minority Business Development Agency, one of the bureaus at the Department of Commerce. It's the one bureau in the entire federal government focused on the success, the long-term growth and opportunity for socially and economically disadvantaged businesses, including minority businesses, including indigenous businesses, including women-owned businesses. Thanks to President Biden's commitment to equity, something that he's done his entire career and that he signed, I can't even remember, can't keep count, 4, 5, 6 executive orders to start the administration focused on equity. We were able to take this concept, the Minority Business Development Agency, which had been stood up in 1969 but was never made permanent. President Biden made it permanent. There's nothing that, it will always be there going forward, and he doubled the budget. Now, growing up as a young man of color in East Cleveland, Ohio, I was inspired by Dr. King's example of selflessness and service in pursuit of justice, peace, and righteousness. At the Department of Commerce and throughout the administration, we're committed to unlocking economic opportunity for every community, not just some, but to make sure that the Black and brown communities, where there are millions of young people who don't have the opportunity to live life to their potential, to find jobs that allow them to live lives of dignity, for every indigenous community and rural community in the country that's disconnected from high-speed internet, disconnected from the world of opportunities, disconnected from healthcare, telehealth, a whole range of other things. For those communities that don't see that opportunity, for the kids like Estella, who have unbelievable potential, and again, just need that one opportunity so that they can live life to their potential. That's what we're focused on. That's what Dr. King not just advocated for, what he fought for, what he lived his life for. He said, I'm tired. I'm tired of marching for something that should be my birthright. Well, in the city of destiny, we don't need to forget that destiny's faithful companion is hope. And that's the hope that Dr. King fought for, and it's what all of us being here today are going to continue to fight for, to make sure that every child, every family, every community, not just some, has the opportunity to live lives of dignity. Mayor, thank you so much for allowing me to come into your great city once again. It is so good to be here. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
My life's blueprint involves absolutely everything in creating a better future for my children, to lift them up and make sure that they're confident in their abilities and that they can continue to, just create a better future. It's all about the kids.
I'm gonna be a doctor and help people make sure they be healthy and make sure they do good stuff. I'm gonna do pretty much things in my life. I wanna be a person who builds houses and a person who does art.
If I have the opportunity to work in a job, to be in a place where I get to create community, where I get to bring people together, where I get to be part of getting together with other communities that I don't necessarily know, that's what I want my life to look like.
God blessed me with a voice, and over the decades, I have been honored and blessed to share that voice in church, musical theater, in film, and in opera. I want to give back by sharing the arts and the opportunity to create for as long as I possibly can.
When I think about my life's blueprint, it's about how do I contribute to those things, those endeavors, those projects that started way before I got here and to continue way after I'm gone.
My purpose in life is to serve. To me, it is the highest calling a person can make to serve others. We are put on this earth to try and make lives better for one another. We are in this together as a humanity, as a people. And I think Dr. King saw that as well.
As I think about my life's blueprint, and how I'll leave my mark or how I'll contribute to Dr. Martin Luther King's dream. I think about the fact that I'm committed to living a life of service in my blueprint for my life that I've lived so far and for those days that are yet to come. I wake up every day with service in mind, not service to myself, but service to others.
All right, so moving along, each year the city's Events and Recognitions Committee receives nominations for the prestigious Martin Luther King Jr. Community Service Award. The awardees selected to receive this honor exemplify a commitment to the legacy of Dr. King. So please help me welcome Jessica Johnston, chair of the city's Events and Recognitions Committee, to introduce you to this year's awardees.
Thank you so much, Lionel. I appreciate you being here again. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, everyone. Yes. Yes. My name is Jessica Johnston. I am the chair of City Events and Recognitions Committee, and it is our honor to be here today. If I could actually have my committee stand, if you're in the room. If we could give them a round of applause. And also a great thanks to Ashley, who is our liaison to this city, who helps us, and to Jennifer, who is the person who is the actual event director. So thank you everyone who helps us put it on, and thank you all for being here today. It's a very, very special day. I also wanted to give a big shout out to ETC. Do we all know ETC here in Tacoma? They donated a beautiful gift bag for our keynote speaker, and I just wanted to say thank you to them and give them a big shout out. So a round of applause for ETC. Also, I would like to point out that this year is the 40th anniversary of the Tacoma Dome, so shout out to that as well. Yes. Okay. So, born and raised in Tacoma, Gloria Joy Kazuko Muhammad is the embodiment of community service and leadership, deeply committed to creating intentional spaces of healing, advocacy, and justice. As a founding volunteer of Healers Connect, she is at the forefront of designing and implementing transformative programs encompassing medication, acu-detox, yoga, visual arts, writing, sound healing, and more. Joy's dedication has positively impacted numerous vulnerable individuals across our city, offering them access to healing modalities that would otherwise be out of reach. Joy's creative work serves as a testament to her passion for societal change. Projects like If It Hits the Ground, It Hits the Sound, murals of the east side of Tacoma, free beginning filmmaking, please applaud, yes. Workshops for youth, and powerful collection of poetry, essays, and memoirs titled We Need a Reckoning, demonstrated her unwavering dedication to amplifying voices often unheard. A pillar in our community, Joy's influence extends beyond the realms of artistry. Her involvement in the Tacoma Tree Foundation's Climate Leadership Cohort, hands-on volunteer efforts to support Tacoma Community College's Sustainability Garden, UW's Tacoma's Giving Garden, and Hilltop Urban Gardens, and the Institute for Black Justice's Activists Cultivating Equitable Strategies program underscores her commitment to a more just world. Yes. Joy's natural leadership, teaching, and artistic abilities shine through her commitment to community building, creative expression, and shared learning. Her work is a beacon of hope, consistently rooted in the creation and for healthier, freer communities for all, guided by a strong lens of racial and environmental justice. I am honored to present this award. Present the 2024 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Emerging Leader Community Service Award to Gloria Joy Kazuko Muhammad.
Okay, so I prepared some words. Firstly, I want to thank Joe Williams. Shout out to Joe. Yeah, let's give a round of applause for that. I want to thank Joe Williams for thinking of me and nominating me for this award. Joe is an amazing musician, composer, curator, arts advocate, and I can personally witness his love for helping artists such as myself. Please hire Joe for all the things. Or maybe not. Being from Tacoma, it's a true gift to be given an award in your own city that you grew up in. I want to give all praise and thanks to God for any good anyone sees in me or has gotten from me. I also want to thank every group I've ever been a part of or been able to organize with in some capacity. I'm only here because of them. I'm not a big fan of individualism and hope to not live my life as an individualistic person, so I can only give thanks to those who I have been around. I would also like to encourage everyone here to look at ways you can emerge in your own life. I know this award is called Emerging Leader Award, but I would like all of us, myself included, to see this award as a reminder to think of ways you can emerge more. In true writer fashion, because I'm a writer, I had to look up the etymology definition of the word emerge. Etymology is the root meaning of a word. The word emerge comes from French and Latin. The root meaning of emerge includes to rise from or out of anything that surrounds, covers, or conceals. Come forth, appear, as from concealment. The root meaning of lead means to cause to go with oneself, march at the head of, go before as a guide, accompany and show the way, carry on, sprout forth, bring forth, pass one's life. We all have things in our own personal and professional lives that we are trying to rise from. I would like to encourage us all to continue that journey of rising, see it as a sacred responsibility. There's no other option but to rise, because we owe it to ourselves, our communities, our ancestors, and our Creator. In the words of Dr. King, from his What is Your Life's Blueprint speech, he stated, "Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth, and always feel that your life has ultimate significance." As someone who is very much a work in progress, I found these words of Dr. King an impactful reminder to think of ourselves as worthy. If we think of ourselves as worthy, we will easily see the humanity in others, from those in our own neighborhoods to those in the Congo, those in Palestine, those in Yemen, in Tigray, those in Sudan, in Haiti, and all over the world. Dr. King stated, "We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." We can no longer have the mindset of big I's and little U's. Emerging individually is one thing, but emerging as a city is a whole other. And the theme of this event, to build block by block, is going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us choosing to rise, choosing to be our best selves. Young people included. You can start now. Don't wait until quote unquote adulthood to do what you feel called to do. I would like to close by reading a quote by another Black man from Georgia who met with Dr. King. They met for the first time February 24th, 1966 in Chicago, Illinois. The quote reads, "Big fields are awaiting for the wide awake man to work out." This quote is from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. From healthcare to housing to food, education, our environment, and more, if you look at any of these categories as fields, wide fields, there's plenty of work to be done. I'd like to encourage myself and all of us to take on the cross of the work needed in our communities and also needed to work on ourselves. For without working on ourselves, our communities can't be better. The self and the community is inseparable, and please do not do it alone. I know it's the new year and folks are thinking of what's in and what's out. Again, individualism is out and community and collective care is in. Thank you all again. Justice for Manuel Ellis. And freedom for all oppressed peoples all around the world. Thank you so much. Peace and love.
Thank you so much, Joy. That was wonderful. Okay. Now, on to our next award. Lisa Matthews' commitment to building bridges and fostering a sense of community has indelibly shaped Tacoma into the welcoming city we know today. Arriving in Tacoma in 1978, Lisa has devoted her life to selflessly serving the community and has been a steward of advocate for Vietnamese seniors, youth, veterans, and mothers. Often, as one of the first to welcome Vietnamese newcomers, Lisa has volunteered countless hours, providing crucial support in various aspects of their lives, from picking them up from the airport to helping them with paperwork, finding housing, connecting them with essential services. Her influence with the Vietnamese-speaking community is vast, with nearly every member connected to her in some way. Lisa's volunteer efforts have touched almost every nonprofit or agency working with the Vietnamese refugees in Tacoma. Her dedication is exemplified by her early work as the YWCA, as the Vietnamese-speaking operator for their suicide prevention telephone line, where she aimed not only to connect callers to resources, but also to leave them with a sense of hope. Recognizing the vulnerability of Vietnamese refugee women, particularly those facing domestic violence, Lisa pioneered safe spaces and activities to encourage dialogue and support. Her impact extends to the leadership roles, including becoming the first female president of the Vietnamese American Community Association, addressing the unique needs of the Vietnamese veteran community. Through her involvement with the Trung Vong Sisters, now known as the Golden Bamboo, Lisa addresses challenges facing refugee seniors, emphasizing health, wellness, and combating loneliness. Her cross-cultural solidarity is evident in her collaboration with the Ukrainian Sunflowers Youth Group, showcasing her commitment to inclusivity. Lisa's influence is not confined to one domain. She actively engages in improving walkability in Tacoma, participating planning and budgeting, community gardening, blood pressure monitoring programs, aiding victims of domestic violence, and assisting new immigrants in settling into Pierce County. In every role she undertakes, Lisa stands as a model of what it means to build a welcoming city. Her boundless energy, compassion, generosity, and creativity bringing people together, aiming a sense of belonging for all, regardless of race, income, language, appearance, gender, sexual orientation, or disability. Lisa Matthews is a shining star in our community, a compassionate force dedicated to lifting the beauty and meaning of the Vietnamese culture while forging connections across the diverse communities in Tacoma. Today, we honor her with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Lifetime Community Service Award, recognizing her as an unsung hero and a true inspiration for all of us. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Lisa?
Thank you all so much for all the words and kind words that I've ever thought of. Seeing I only have 2 minutes. So I'm going to do it real quick. I only have 5 things that I have to say. First thing is I would like to thank you, Renee. She's in the audience. Please stand up, Renee. I've been working with Renee as a volunteer for so many years, and it's unexpected to know that I'm standing here today to receive a wonderful award. She believed in me. Thank you, Renee, for believing in me. And follow through what I have done. Secondly, I would like to thank you, my families, to supporting me and satisfy their times because I never home. And third, I would like to thank you, Mayor Wood, that's spending whole times and knowing everything that I'm doing in the communities. And it's my pleasure to thank you, and thank you all for being here today. Number 4, I would like to thank you, everyone that have been working with me, Metro Park, Safe Place, Police Department, and all my family. What I call is my second family. So please, my family, my second family, and my co-worker and my supportive, please stand up. I'm so happy and honored to be here today with unexpected. But because I'm here today, maybe I will changing more lives than I ever dreamed of. And I would like to, with all of your support, and without your support, I will not stand here today. And I thank you so much for everyone to be here, especially there's my golden bamboo. My golden bamboo, please stand up. Without them, I probably wouldn't be here today either. But I am so honored to be here today and to receive the award, and without you, I cannot do it alone. So let's follow our Martin Luther King. Keep going and supporting and working and let the dream of Martin Luther King come true. It is so much that I want to say, but unfortunately, I don't have the time, only 2 minutes. So again, I would like to say a few words in Vietnamese so the golden bamboo understand. Chúng tôi cảm ơn Rene đã bầu cho tôi hôm nay được đứng trên sàn hôm nay. Và cảm ơn tất cả mọi người đã giúp tôi và làm việc với tôi để được hưởng thụ ngày hôm nay. Và cảm ơn thị trưởng Woods nghe và tiếp tục giúp chúng tôi để thành một hội để mà có giúp đỡ hết tất cả mọi người. Một lần nữa xin cảm ơn tất cả quý vị đã đến dự hôm nay. On the behalf of our golden bamboo and what I call my second families, so to be here today to support me and make things that hopefully and looking forward to for the few more years and come and many more years to come. So I thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being here today, and I will continue to follow Martin Luther King's dreams and his literacy. Thank you again all for being here. One more thing, I almost forgot. Thank you, my second family, to reminded me. We also has a Vietnamese Lunar New Year coming up on January 28th at the Community Drive Park Center, which is on Portland and 56th Avenue. And there will be fashion show, three generation fashion shows, and music, and classical music, and popular, and now we have, third generation, they're gonna do hip hops. So please, please come and join us to celebrate and keep, our cultures going. And thank you again for being here. God bless you.
One more round of applause, please. All right. So, again, congratulations to this year's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Service awardees. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Christian Page, a community leader who that's right, give it up for her now if you need to. Christian is a poet, an educator, and speaker who currently serves as Tacoma's Poet Laureate. He was born, raised, and still lives in Tacoma and is committed to planting seeds in the place we all call home. He has served the community through teaching, youth programming, mentorship, leadership training, and community building. His work has been elevated to national platforms and has received praise and awards. However, Page believes the most important work is empowering young people to become leaders who leave a legacy. Page?
Oh, good afternoon, family. I don't know if y'all grew up where I grew up, but when somebody talks to you, you often talk back to them. I said, good afternoon, family. All right, I'll let y'all pass for today. I'm honored to have the opportunity to be here with you all today, to see so many beautiful faces as a part of this crowd, and to know, right, that I've grown in this community, that people have served me, and now I get the opportunity to give back. I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak to you all. But for those of you who know me, I always ask the question to the audience, can I talk a little bit spicy to you all today? Is it fair? Remember, y'all said yes. I find myself in a lot of schools during this season. For the last 5 or 6 years, I've stood on a ton of gymnasium floors talking to large groups of students and teaching in their classrooms. And one of the things that I often offer them is that it is not enough to honor Dr. Martin Luther King by being a celebrator, right? That if we're actually going to honor Dr. King and his legacy, that we have to learn how to become emulators, right? That we must be people that understand that this is not a game of intensity, but a game of consistency, and we have to show up time and time again. And I've been really challenged this year, if I can be honest with you all, because I've realized what I've been asking students to do and what it will mean for their lives. I want to let you all know that, like, telling the truth is not something that is always popular. That Dr. Martin Luther King only lived to be 39 years old. And we often find ourselves in these spaces celebrating, and I know this for a fact, that all celebrators are not emulators. My ask of us, the thing that I hope that we tap into today is knowing, right, that this journey is difficult. That if Dr. Martin Luther King was alive, if we got the opportunity to see the polls of his popularity at the time period he was living, people would not be voting highly. And now we find ourselves in a time period after his death being able to celebrate him. What I ask is that we're willing to lean into the discomfort that it takes to tell the truth, right? That we're willing to accept the persecution that comes along with sharing the stories that we need to. And the reason being, right, as Dr. Martin Luther King tells us, that the moral arc is long, but it always bends back towards justice. The poem that I want to share with you all today is inspired by one of my favorite poets. Her name is Jessica Care Moore. She's from Detroit. She's an amazing human being. And another individual by the name of Rana, who I met at a conference in Austin, Texas. And in so many words, both of them remind me that our lives begin to end the day that we become silent about things that matter. And so I offer you this piece called Block by Block. The poem would read, I know brick masons and legacy layers and hands that have poured concrete. I know strong bodies with sore backs and hardened palms. I know feet that have marched and arms that have become chains and shoulders that have served as foundations. And I know architects who have written blueprints that never had their occupants' best interest at hand. I have reasons not to waive my inspections. I've seen revolutionaries call for corrections and revisions and reform and never lived to see their birthdays become holidays. Villainized, surveilled by FBI, Black Messiah on the rise, disrupt, discredit, destroy, demise, and Nobel Prize, all for the same person. Was he prophet in homeland? Anomaly in original blueprint, glitch in the matrix, rebel rouser, architect with the dream becomes segregated nation's nightmare builder, becomes dangerous, pen is greater than sword until met with pistol. Justice is a dangerous game, but I know a few who are still willing to play it, to write their own blueprint and display it, who understand King's rhetoric and relay it, acknowledging the risk of speaking the truth, but still have the courage to say it. I'm talking about the dreamers, who know that our liberation must first be found in our imagination, and that teaching against hate is not indoctrination. It is necessary to keep King's dream alive. But if you find yourself in opposition, want to erase us or insult us, play Hoover to our movement, call us hope dealers, demonize us for telling back children that they are more than just calluses on their ancestors' hands, that they are societal engineers, architects of the future, watch us as we give graphic pencils and plotter paper to Black babies with visions, to dream like Miss Shalisa's son, and tell everyone that walks into their community that they are in good hands, that they have good hands, that they have minds strong enough to draw their own blueprint, that they don't have to accept the world in its current state, that they can draw their own lines, dream their own dreams, and stand in solidarity with their counterparts they don't have to accept. Babies buried in rubble in a war that they don't understand, they don't have to accept. Black boys yelling that they can't breathe under the weight of knees that belong to their protectors, they don't have to accept. A street life or a knife or a gunfight or a mother left without closure, they have all that they need to build a better future. Tell them they are in control of their blueprint, that the narratives crafted don't always have their best interest in mind, and if anyone shows them a plan that doesn't involve them, tear it in half. Believe in your own beauty, draw your own, and if you have to do it alone, be architect and builder and dreamer and believer, and hands guided by those who have labored before you, and build for everybody, build for eternity, build to keep the dream alive, and even if they cannot see your vision, build until your blueprint has come to fruition. The dream is a game of forever, and it may be unpopular, but you must be steadfast in this mission and build block by 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 block.
Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Page. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce you to today's keynote speaker. Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard currently serves as the mayor of the city of Mount Vernon, New York, and the president of the African American Mayors Association. Mayor Patterson-Howard is the first woman and person of color to be elected mayor in Mount Vernon's 200-plus year history. However, she has no desire to be the only and paves the way for those beside her and behind her. In addition to her professional accomplishments, Mayor Patterson-Howard values volunteerism and holds positions on several local and national board of directors, including being a member of the Children's Health and Human Services Committee of the United States Conference of Mayors, a member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. All right, there it is. The Mayors for a Guaranteed Income Board of Directors, and many more. So please, please, please join me in welcoming to this stage Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, no, I think we just slipped over to afternoon. Good afternoon. So happy Martin Luther King Day. I want to say thank you so much to my amazing sister, Mayor Victoria Woodards, who is so proud of Tacoma. I promise you, wherever she is in the United States or internationally as we travel to do the work, she speaks always so passionately about her city. Thank you to the Tacoma City Council. Thank you to the City Events and Recognition Committee for having me here and putting this together. And thank you to the City of Tacoma for having me. Before I really get started, I want to say thank you to Estella. Your reading was beautiful, and your shoes are so sparkly. I like them, right? I want to give a few congratulations also to the honorees for your work. You do the work not to be recognized, but because you recognize that the work has to be done. So thank you. Thank you to our Poet Laureate. I'm like, okay, I gotta come up after that block by block by block by block, right? I want to just give a quick few shout outs to my D9 family, of course, to my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, to the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha. I mean, this is MLK Day, and he was an Alpha, so we have to shout them out. To the AKAs, even though you're not Deltas, it is your Founders Day, and so we honor you on today, right? To my AMA family, over 500 black mayors across the country. To my Mount Vernon family back home, money-earning Mount Vernon, where I live and chill. Now, if you know about Heavy D, you know that that's the line from the song, because that's where I grew up. Today, we're here to recognize and celebrate the life, the work, and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And before I even start, you said it, can I be a little spicy today? Right? I mean, because I didn't come here necessarily to give a speech. I came to have some courageous conversations, to share some thoughts, and to share a little bit what's on my heart. Because as a mayor, I'm not sitting there today, I'm standing here today, but our cities are really not that much different. You're bigger and you have more diversity than we do, but we still share a lot of the same challenges because we live here in America. And so I challenge you today to come here in your authentic self. And so I had my pearls and my pumps and my heels and my red and my black, and I said, oh, well, maybe I'll show up like that. But then I said, no, I want to be comfortable, and I'm going to put on my flats and my jean dress, and I'm going to show up authentically as me. Because while I have the title of mayor, I'm more than that. I'm a person, right? I'm a person, and there's a person behind the title. And I was so encouraged when I came in here, because we need encouragement too. As the choir said, hang on in there. They said, what you gonna do when your back's against the wall, right? And what are you gonna do? How are you gonna smile when it feels all hope is gone? And what are you gonna do when you need a little more grace? And how are you gonna smile when they test your faith? Oh my goodness, right? but it says to hang on in there. And so that is what we are doing on today, on Martin Luther King Day. We are hanging on in there. Despite what we're going through, we're hanging on in there. So we know that Martin Luther King, was a drum major for justice. We know that he was a dreamer, a preacher, an activist, an organizer, a man, a father, a warrior. He was a man who was wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. And as you said, he's a creative extremist. And as Mayor Woodard stated, King's dream was not a mere aspiration. And as you read, his letter from Birmingham jail was not just a letter. And we've heard over and over that what is your life blueprint is not just a question, but collectively they are all calls to action. And so on today, I call you to action. A call for us to understand who we are, the talents that we possess, how we're using our time, our talent, and our treasure to transform not just our community, but our lives, our family, our neighborhood, and the nation. How are we working together to create a community and a country that is equitable, that is just, and that is united? As I said, you represent your city with so much pride and passion. And as you picked me up, you know, your mayor's humble. She picked me up from the airport and we rode around and we went and we saw the parks and we saw the waterfront and we saw some of the trails. We went to the business district. We had a little bit to eat. And today we're gonna ride around just a little bit more so she could show me some of the neighborhoods. We looked at the mountains and I got an opportunity this morning as I came a little bit earlier to see the people. And more than anything, what makes up your city with all of the greatness that you have and all of the tapestry is the strength of the people. And so your theme that you chose today for Martin Luther King Day was a community blueprint, building block by block. And so when we talk about a blueprint, we talk about a plan for building, creating, and growing, a design for action and growth developed by an architect, a blueprint that is multi-dimensional, and a plan that represents our dimensions of diversity. But when we talk about our life or our community's blueprint, the architect is not someone that we don't know. It's us. It's our neighbors, it's our friends, and it's our frenemies. Yes, I said frenemies, because there are some people you don't know if they're your friends or your enemies. On different days, they might be all of the same thing, right? But they're still here and we work with them. Blueprints are beautiful and they're important to building a strong foundation and setting the benchmark and the tone for what we have to do and building lasting structures. But a blueprint is only as good as it is when we take it out of our mind and we take it off our shelf and we make it actionable. Without making it actionable, the blueprint means nothing. So as I looked up some things about Tacoma, and I've heard it today, it said Tacoma is a city of destiny. I love that. It's a city of destiny. But the question that I submit to you is, how do we get to the destiny? And what will your role be in getting there? It's not about you and me, it's about us and we. It's the collective that you spoke about. It's not about the individualism, but about the strength. One of my favorite proverbs is when spider webs unite, we can tie up a lion. And that is my favorite proverb because as we look at ourselves, oftentimes we look at our insufficiencies, our insecurities, what we don't do, what we don't have, the power that we can't even imagine, and we sit back and we're frustrated about what's not happening. But when we understand that our talents individually and collectively are more powerful and that when we unite, we can really tie up that lion of poverty and crime and discrimination and racism and inequity when we work together. And when you talk about Tacoma being a city of destiny, it's a journey, and the journey has begun. I've looked at your city, I've looked at your demographics, and then I looked at your elected leaders. and they are very representative, right? You have women, you have people of color, you have people who are moving and marching in different ways. You represent the rich diversity of Tacoma. Again, fighting for a more just, equitable, and inclusive and welcoming city. I know you might think that it's not that big or you're not doing that great, but trust me, it's on the way. And again, the biggest question I have is what are you doing on this journey to help your city and your neighbors reach this destiny? Strangely enough, the March on Washington was 60 years ago, and I had an opportunity to go to DC. And I saw people. I got to be with Andrew Young and Martin Luther King III and some of King's other daughters and sons as we sat and we talked, and civil rights leaders that I've watched grown up looking at. I'm 55, I'm a 68 baby, born just after he was assassinated. So I never got to see him, and I wasn't alive in his time, but he has changed my life. And what I was frustrated about when I was there is I said, so many of the things that we had accomplished are starting to slip away, right? And it's not because we didn't make progress, but we became very comfortable with the progress. And so we got rocked to sleep, right? But now that we've woken up and we're woke, right? And we're coming out of our sleep and our slumber, when we've come out of our sleep and our slumber, we've also awoken to our frustration and our anger, our feelings of helplessness and bitterness and fear and anxiety and frustration. I've heard it all. Mayor, I'm tired of marching, I'm tired of singing, I'm tired of preaching, I'm tired of raising money, I'm tired of fighting for equity and justice that should be ours without a fight. You're right. But we still have to fight. Like Miss Sophia said in The Color Purple, y'all know it, all my life I've had to fight. Yes, and we have to continue to fight because our children and our elders deserve our fight. Our ancestors set the level ground and the playing field so that we would have an opportunity to fight. 60 years after the March on Washington, our democracy and our rights are under attack, and it's in a major and a coordinated way. We can't react emotionally, but we must organize and strategize with emotional intelligence, strategy and faith being at the core of what we do. From voting rights to affirmative action in education and in the workplace and in an economy that does not feel like it was designed for economic mobility for everyone, from immigration laws that are broken to a criminal justice system and a system of policing that still and oftentimes still feels unjust and born in a culture of racism and black codes, and a system that wants to take away our votes, our right to vote, even when so many of us still don't understand the power of our vote. They wouldn't try and take away our vote if our vote was not powerful. They would not try to take away our vote if our vote was not powerful. I supported a city councilwoman who I believed in and who had never been elected, and she was running against someone who had been an interim mayor who I beat, right? Shade a little bit this morning, right? But it's important. But he had been a councilman and had been in office, and here she was, a regular woman in the community who was doing the work before the honorable came in front of her name. And she won by one vote. One single vote. And when they did the recount, she won by 3. I said, triple the score. Right? We understand that you're tired, we're tired, the preachers are tired, the young people are tired, the elders are tired, the workers are tired, the elected are tired. Collectively, we are tired. But we have to continue to work. It's okay to be tired and frustrated and angry, but what's not an option is sitting around and talking about how tired, frustrated, and angry you are without doing something about it. Talk about it. Throw yourself a pity party, have a temper tantrum, cry, scream, holler, speak in tongues, bow before Jesus, do what you gotta do, but then you gotta get up and work, right? So the thing that I know that I'm no longer doing, this is my second term. I'm the first mayor re-elected in 20 years, and it was a hard decision to run, right? And I have to correct something. I'm not the first black mayor, but I am the first woman mayor. And I'm the first woman mayor in our county and the second black woman mayor in the state. And it shouldn't be about first anymore, right? We shouldn't be talking about first anymore. And I didn't run to be the first, and I didn't run to make history. I ran and I serve every day because I want to make impact. So, what I said that I would not do this time around is that I'm not going to listen to the people who pop off, right? What are people who pop off? They are pontificators of problems. They know how to define it, talk about it. You know, they just spew the problems. They're the ones who show up at the meetings anytime a solution is trying to be put together and talk about what hasn't worked, what we've tried, what we've done, how the haters are there. This ain't happening, this one's not doing it. Right? We're not going to listen to the people who pop off, but we're going to listen to those who are the cops, not the police, but the cops, because we're going to redefine it. Cops are champions of problem solving, right? So choose to be a cop and not pop off. It's simply, again, a call to action. A call to action, and not like in frustration how we've done since the 60s, where we burn, baby, burn, because we're angry and frustrated, but it's a call to action to build, baby, build. It's not a call to action to talk about our intentions, but a call to action to make sure we're being intentional and strategic and collaborative about how we move. Because we must build sustainable change, and we must do it block by block. In his speech, he said, and you've heard, number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anyone to make you feel that you're not nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth and significance, and always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Tacoma, you have to know this individually for yourselves and collectively as a community. Who are you? What do you have to offer? How can you make a difference? You have to kill the negative self-talk in your head. It's not about what other people say about you that you listen to, but it's about what you say to yourself. You say things to yourself that you'd hit somebody in the throat if they said to you. And you know it's true. We do it all the time. You have to kill the negative self-talk about your neighborhood. We don't live in the hood. We live in a neighborhood. And we have to put the neighbor back in the hood if we want to transform our neighborhoods. You have to crush the imposter syndrome that keeps you on the side playing small. Whether you're from the hilltop, South Tacoma, North End, East Side, Central Tacoma, Northeast, or living on all of these indigenous lands of the Puyallup, it's time to tap into your strength and uniqueness of not only your neighborhood, but of yourself and your community. Stop talking about what you don't have and what you want and what people aren't doing, and prepare to be a part of the concerted effort to get it done. It's easy to say, oh, well, you know, you're the mayor, and no, but I was doing this work before I was honorable. I'm a social worker, and I was the CEO of the YMCA, and I ran AIDS programs, and I started a drug treatment court, and I ran a gang intervention program for 10 years, right? So I didn't just talk about it, I am about it, and as mayor, I'm still about it. See, so I'm just a girl. I'm a girl from the South Side, and when Mayor Woodard said the hilltop, I said the hilltop. I grew up on the hilltop, 2 blocks away from MLK Boulevard, and we know in every community that MLK Boulevard is the hood, right? So a single mom and a stepdad, and one of the first in my family is to get an imposter degree. Yes, I suffer from imposter syndrome. I have a disability. I'm dyslexic, and I have processing speed issues. So yes, if I was in school right now, I'd have an EIP. And for many, many years, I lacked confidence and self-esteem. And today, still, I stand and I struggle through anxiety and on many days, depression. And I came from a community that was a stepchild to New York City, because if you wasn't from Harlem and Manhattan and Queens and Brooklyn and Staten Island, right? They said we lived upstate, right? And so I know sometimes you sit here in the shadow of Seattle, but no, you are Tacoma, and you're not trying to be Seattle or anyone around you, because you are Tacoma. New York is the Big Apple, and Westchester County is the Golden Apple, and they oftentimes refer to my city as the rotten core of the Golden Apple, right? But when I became mayor, I said we're gonna flip the script and we're gonna change the narrative, and we're not gonna talk about where we've been, but where we're going. And so I said we are the jewel of Westchester. See, because a jewel, a diamond, was once coal, but because of pressure, pressure and hard times turned into a diamond. So let your pressure turn you into a diamond. Anything that is valuable has gone through pressure, has gone through crushing, has gone through breaking, and has been refined by fire. So don't let your challenges define you. Allow your challenges to develop you into who you need to be to transform your community. I gotta hurry up. We gotta build up our faith, our skills, our schools, our finances, our block, our neighborhood, our community, and our cities, block by block. No one's coming to do it for us, and we can't wait for the 40 acres and a mule and reparations. I know they're talking about reparations on national and state levels and city levels, and that's cute, but until the real money is put behind it and they put land behind it, then miss me with all the talk. We're not waiting for that, right? We're not waiting for that. So, Mayors for Guaranteed Income, here in the city of Tacoma, your mayor is working to build a dignity economy, and so she launched the GRIT program, Growing Resilience in Tacoma, where people are being given $500 a month for 13 months to make a difference, to allow them to breathe and focus on what they need to do. Last night, I was reminded of a quote by Benjamin Franklin that the world is run by people who show up. The world is run by people who show up. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Ushka, right? So what does that mean? Everyone wants to be a boss, but not everyone wants to show up. Not everyone wants to work, not everyone is ready to lead, build, sacrifice, and compromise and find solutions, but we still have to show up. We have to show up when we're tired, when we're hungry, when we're angry, when we're broken, when we're frustrating, not doing it again for recognition, but because we recognize it must be done. And the only time that change is not possible is when we buy into the belief and the lie that it is not possible. And we have to also realize that no one owned the work. No one owns the work. We all own the work. Each of us has to show up and put time in the things that we know are important and need to be done. We may not be the smartest, the most popular, the most innovative, the most talented, the most respected, or again, have an honorable in front of our name, but we must show up. We have to show up whether we're in pumps and pearls or we're in hoodies and Timbs, or whether you are suited and booted, but you have to be ready to show up and ready to lead as well as follow. Ready not just to make demands, but to make compromise, and most importantly, ready to show up and work with those who may look different, speak different, season their foods a little different, worship a God that's different, but always representing the deep tapestry of this community. I promise you that as we fight and build, it will be hard, and there'll be days that you will feel energized, and there are days that you're gonna feel depleted. There's gonna be days where you win the battle, and there's gonna be days where you lose the battle, but you must stay focused, because Tacoma is the city of destiny. There are days that you'll feel protected, and there are days you will feel downright disrespected, but you must stay focused and resolute. So, I got a bag from ETC. Thank you, ETC, for a nice bag. And when I went into the bag, one of the things that I saw were 2 knuckles, and it said grit, the grit. And I looked it up, and I know what grit is and having grit is, but I wanted to understand why Tacoma referred to itself as, Grit City. Grit City. And when I looked it up, I saw that some people didn't like the word or the phrase Grit City because they said, well, it's dirty and it's flawed. Well, what is wrong with being a little dirty and a little bit flawed, right? All of us are a little dirty and a little bit flawed, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what is tragic is when you don't know your own identity. What is tragic is when you don't know your own worth. What is tragic is when you allow other people to define you. And so there's nothing wrong with Grit City. Grit is about being resilient, having fortitude, and not giving up in the midst of obstacles and forging ahead. It's being willing to get your hands dirty by working hard in an effort to get things done. Understanding that everyone else is tapping out, you have to lean in. Knowing the difference between turning up and turning out of frustration and showing up to do the work. Understanding that there is a time to fit in and a time to stand out. You can't fit in and stand out at the same time, so choose this day who you will be. Understanding that they can't conquer what they can't divide, so stay unified. Benjamin E. Mays had a poem that I love. He says, I've only a minute, only 60 seconds in it, forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me if I use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity's in it. So block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, issue by issue, frustration by frustration, and day by day, use your minute. Don't forget your moment. Tacoma, do what you gotta do. It's MLK Day, and I'ma say this as I go. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is that King of glory? The Lord God Almighty. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is that King of glory? The Lord God Almighty, the Lord mighty in battle. He is that King of glory. Lift up your head with grit. Forge ahead with fortitude, transform your community block by block. Be the champion, be the mentor, be not only the one who opens doors, but who holds the door open. Be not weary by well-doing, but in due season you'll reap if you faint not. And lastly, but not least, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Pull down the strongholds in yourself, in your neighborhoods, and in your cities. But this is your time. You have the blueprint. Now be the engineer, the brick mason, and the construction worker that carries it out, block by block.
My life blueprint is to give back and to inspire others.
I was meant to radiate God's love. I'm a faith believer.
Grew up in the church playing the drums. My dad was a minister of music. My uncle was the pastor. And so that kind of instills my foundation and my music abilities. Then went to school to kind of major in business and minor in music to understand on paper what that, what my blueprint means and how do I communicate that to others. And so I think that just being instilled inside of me as a young, at an early age, just makes up who I am.
How I can love other people is by helping them feel seen, heard, and known.
Some of the things that are in my life blueprint would be centered around something that's very important to me, and it would be my faith. Faith in humanity. Folks that live on the other side of the road. Division, literally, right? That maybe people who have other political beliefs, religious belief, ethnicity, race, socioeconomics, my belief in humanity, and not necessarily, right, because we miss this, not who I believe I want them to become, but my belief in who they could become. I'm less concerned about people fitting into the framework of what I believe they should be, and I'm more concerned with people being who they were created to be. That's what's in my life blueprint.
I believe that the blueprint of a city is all of us putting our blueprints together to see this like masterpiece. The blueprint that I see from my own personal journey is to help others bring their blueprints together to see one big city that we collectively create, and using the creative imagination to dream of what else could there be and how do we solve problems together.
I believe I was created to spread the word of God for one, and to just go out and care about people.
But serving is like really taking and looking at what our humanity needs and then filling that need. And so more from a social impact perspective of it making impact throughout our society with the resources that you have as you elevate yourself, elevating others. And so when I think about my blueprint of service, I've been serving in Tacoma for over 25 plus years, well over half my life. And I have been able to see other people's needs and then fill them with the resources that I have.
What is in my life's blueprint? To just make change, make sustainable change. You know, everything that I do, no matter what it is, it's for when I leave here. And I always want to make sure that when I'm done and it's over and it's final, that everyone just knows that I left everything on the ground, I left everything behind because I gave it everything.
So my blueprint is to bring creativity and fun and hope to all of the things I do.
I fight every day for marginalized individuals, whether it be the trans and gender diverse community, whether it be the houseless community, whether it be the Black and brown community. I want to do that with the rest of my life.
Thank you so much to the performers from the Tacoma Urban Performing Arts Center and Northwest Sinfonietta. Now, everyone, please help me re-welcome to the stage Mayor Victoria Woodards for our final award of the day.
Have you all had a good time today? Do you feel a little bit more inspired today? Do you feel like you can leave here and now you've got your blueprint and you're ready to go home and write it and make a difference in this community? Do you feel that today? Before I get to the awards, sometimes, you know, those of you who know me, I can get a little excited. And I got so excited I forgot to introduce a very important group of people, and I just lumped them in. Not that they're not part of the fabric of everyone in Tacoma, but they're a little special to me because I have the awesome opportunity to work with them every single day. And I think our MC alluded to it. But as I said the other night when we swore in some of our new council members, I said I'm proud to live in a city that would elect a council that looks like this. On the Tacoma City Council, would you all please stand? Deputy Mayor John Hines, Councilmember Bushnell, Councilmember Daniels, Councilmember Diaz, Councilmember Rumbaugh, Councilmember Scott, Councilmember Walker, and Councilmember Ushka. And I say that to say this: 7 women, 2 men, 5 people of color. We don't even make up the majority in this city, and we have 5 people of color on the Tacoma City Council. And that is because this city of destiny, who believes in talent, who really understands what it takes to make decisions, you all chose this council, and I couldn't be more proud to serve with every single one of them. Please give another round of applause for your city council. Thank you, guys. Now, speaking of someone's life blueprint, Each year I have the privilege of recognizing someone special in our community who truly embodies Martin Luther King's words and actions, and I have the opportunity to present them with the Mayor's Special Recognition Award. This year, I am proud to recognize Reverend Gregory Christopher, Senior Pastor of Shiloh Baptist Church. He is a man who has dedicated his entire life to this community, going above and beyond to serve not only Tacoma, but the entire county, I'm destined to say the state and the entire country and the world. He has been ministering at Shiloh for over 35 years. He serves not only as the senior pastor of the church, but also as the past president of the Tacoma Ministerial Alliance and an at-large board member of the National Baptist Convention and the past president of Tacoma's NAACP. Anytime I pick up the phone to call him, he answers. Anytime we need him to pray, he answers. Anytime we need to hear his thoughts on issues, he's there. Anytime we want to have a community event, he opens the doors of his church. He truly embodies someone who has mapped out their blueprint and has built right here in this city. He's not only built here, but he's thrown up his own timber upstairs so then when he gets up there, he's going to have a mansion as well. But while he is still on this earth, in this community, serving the city of Tacoma, I wanted to take this opportunity to honor him. I can't think of anyone more deserving of this recognition, especially as he will soon be retiring from his ministry in Tacoma. Unfortunately, Reverend Christopher could not be with us today. He is at home dealing with walking pneumonia. And I told him to keep walking around his house and not come out here. We want him to get well quickly. But we have one of his proteges, none other than Reverend Melando Redeemer, who is here to accept this year's Mayor's Special Recognition Award for Dr. Gregory Christopher.
Good afternoon, Tacoma. Here's some words from Pastor Christopher. Greetings in the name of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. In Martin Luther King's last book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos Our Community, he said these words: "We have inherited a large house, a great world house, in which we have to live together, black and white, Easterner and Westerner, Gentile and Jew, Catholic and Protestant, Muslim and Hindu, a family unduly separated in ideas, culture, and interests, who, because we can never again live apart, must somehow learn to live with each other in peace. The Bible says, 'And let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap, and if we do not lose heart.'" Galatians 6:9, which was stated earlier. Thank you to Jennifer Durham, the host event planner. Thank you to the Most Honorable Mayor Victoria Woodards. And thank you to the esteemed City of Destiny for this immense honor. Being the recipient of the 2024 Martin Luther King Jr. Mayor Special Recognition Award is not only a high privilege, but also a profound responsibility that I accept with the deepest humility and appreciation. John Donne's poignant words, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main." These words resonate profoundly with my spirit and soul today. These words speak of the interconnectedness and collective journey toward creating a better world. If my actions have contributed positively to humanity, I firmly believe it was and is by the grace of God. I am but a servant and His will, striving to make a difference where I can. This award will hold a special place in my heart as accepted in memory of the late Reverend Dr. E.S. Brazil. His influence, teaching, and unwavering faith that continues to guide me. I extend my heartfelt thanks to my Shiloh family, many who are here today. I'm going to ask Shiloh to stand, those who are here. Amen. I want to thank the Shiloh family for their unconditional support, encouragement, and faith in me. It is their support that empowers me to pursue my calling and continue the noble work started by the late Reverend Dr. Ernest Stonewall Brazil. His motto in life became my motto in life. If I can help somebody as I travel this way, then my living will not be in vain. This award is not just a recognition of past efforts, but also a call to future action. It strengthens my resolve to keep working towards the ideals that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. so passionately advocated for: equality, justice, and peace. In this spirit, and with the continued support of my community and the guidance of God, I'm committed to making a meaningful difference in the lives of others until there is no more life in me. Last but not least, let me appreciate my beautiful wife who endured my absence in the home for the sake of the need of the many. I will always love Bone, Evelyn Jean Christopher. Once again, I thank you for this great honor and for recognizing the small part I have played in the vast tapestry of our shared humanity. Let us all continue to work together in this journey of love, unity, and service. All praise to my God, all power to all people. Servant Pastor, Reverend Dr. Gregory Christopher. Thank you.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say anything about Pastor Christopher. He and Shiloh Baptist Church welcomed me when I first came to Tacoma. They were there, and his words were there when I met my wife and brought us together, and it was one of the happiest moments of my life. But however, last year, it was a very hard year for me. And Pastor Christopher's words were there, and Shiloh wrapped themselves around me. And I will be forever grateful to that man and the church that he leads. And so as someone that is one of the many, I thank you, and I thank all of you for everything that you have done. So with that being said, we would also like to thank the City of Tacoma Event and Recognitions Committee and Chair Jessica Johnston for putting all of this together for us today. And we would also like to thank all of the participants, our keynote speaker, Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard, and congratulations again to this year's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Service awardees. And last but not least, a final thank you to the Tracy L. Davis Celebration Choir, who will now lead us singing and dancing through the rest of our day with the song, We Shall Overcome. Thank you all so much for coming today, and to those watching at home, have a terrific day and the rest of the year.
You're watching TV Tacoma.